Hey, Nikki, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Wanted to talk to you about some of the first yesterday, some historic elections that occurred across the country.
Yeah, when I came in this morning, I was like, I need something to lift my spirits. So I looked at some positive things that came out of the election. I wore my Coraline hat, wore my protest shirt. So trying to stay positive about this. So there were some really cool historic firsts that I was really proud to be witness to. So it looks like we got our first slide here is the King County shattered previous record of 600,000 ballots scanned with over 1 million ballots counted for 2020. So that's amazing. Like the voter turnout in King County, that just blew past the last record that we had. So I'm really proud that everybody in King County showed up, voted. We have such an easy voting system. It was great to see such a high percentage of people voting. Our next slide is other historic firsts. Oh, do you want me just to put the slides up? Or are you gonna do
Go
them?
ahead. You got
All
it.
right. I get to drive. Okay. So our next set of historic firsts are a couple of notable ones here. You guys talked about a little bit about the legalization of recreational marijuana in 5 states or 3 states, and I think 2 were medical. Another great one was California restored voting rights to more than 50,000 parolees. That one's going to be a huge change for California. One that I love actually was that Mississippi will now elect their governor and top offices with the popular vote, which I think is going to be a really cool experience for them for the first time to be able to do that. And then, of course, Oregon is the first to legalize small amounts of recreational drugs. So that was another historic first. Moving on, we've got our BIPOC historic first. So there's some really cool ones across the nation for this. Cori Bush was the first Black woman elected to Congress from Missouri. New Mexico elected its first House delegation comprising entirely of women of color. And Mondori Jones and Richie Torres were elected as the first 2 BIPOC to Congress from New York City. A few more that we have. One I think is really interesting is Kali Anderson is the youngest Black person to win elected office. We've also got Nikki Saville is the first Asian American elected into Pennsylvania State Senate. And in Fort Bend, they elected its first Black sheriff since Reconstruction. And Texas City elected its first Black mayor.
All right. Well, look at you. You went dig deep for some good news, huh?
Oh, yeah. I had to dig in there, but I needed it. So, and then another couple that I thought were really notable is we have our LGBTQIA plus historic first. So Stephanie Byers is the only openly trans person elected to Kansas State House and the state legislature in the United States. Kim Jackson to become the first only LGBTQIA state senator in Georgia. Delaware elected their only openly trans state senator, Sarah McBride. That was a huge race, had lots of national attention. We also have Tory Harris and Eddie Manis are the first openly LGBTQIA officials ever elected to Tennessee state legislature. And Taylor Small is Vermont's first openly transgender legislator elected to the state's House of Representatives. So those were my positive nuggets that I dug all around the internet to find to try to pump up my mood, because the presidential election is doing the opposite of that.
Those are great. I was buried on everything Capitol Hill last night, so it's good to get a look at the rest of the country. There's a lot of good things that are out there and a lot of interesting stories that I want to go read more about now.
Yeah, so we actually have a election page. So it's whereweconverge.com/elections, where I've listed out all the results for Washington's election, everything that's been called so far, as well as these historic first. And you can actually watch the replay. We had a 3-hour show last night that was live election coverage with, as Marcus Harrison Green said, the most colorful panel of commentators probably in the country talking about what was going on. So we showed a little clip of that earlier in the show. So if you want to watch the replay, see these historic firsts, or keep tabs on the election results, you can do that. whereweconverge.com/election.